Louis A. Boygan, United States Air Force, 1964 to 1968, and joined the Pennsylvania Air National Guard in 1973 and retired 28 years later in 2005.
Gerald Jones. I was a member of the United States Marine Corps in 1968-69.
My name is James Clinton Harris. I joined the United States Marine Corps in 1963, and I served for 4 years.
My name is John G. Harvey, and I was in the United States Navy, January 15th, I believe it was, of '69, and I came out June of June of '74.
Name's Reginald Strange. I joined the service in 1963, Army.
My name is Tyrone E. Rucker, Sr., United States Army. Graduated from Edison High School in '66. Joined the military in December of '67. I served 22 years in the military.
These 6 veterans represent the power of Christ, along with men and women of PointMan Ministry who are willing to help each other. From the founding of this nation, black men and women have joined the military. They fought and shed blood to protect our country. But it's not a secret, the nation hasn't always stood up for black men and women veterans. Even after showing our bravery and patriotism, we continue to fight on 2 fronts: the enemy outside our borders and the enemy within. Racism and lack of respect, the enemy within, is the main reason PSHM, or PointMan Soldiers Heart Ministry, came into existence.
The PointMan Ministry was started in, I believe, 91 or 92 at Triumph Baptist Church.
Myself and Jim Abrams, we started it. I was the benefits counselor and he was the president. Both of us were president at the same time because we founded it. And I just dropped down just to do helping other vets.
We were a outpost to the international PointMan Soldier or PointMan Ministry. We were, in fact, the first outpost in the city of Philadelphia, and it was started by the, burning desire of my brother who's going on to be with the Lord, James E. Abrams. Like so many returning veterans, I didn't want to have anything to do with the Veteran Administration. One of the things we, at PointMan are, endeavoring in, and that is making certain that a lot of people who are eligible for benefits and what have you, get the services that they need. Some of them have drug and alcohol problems.
I did a lot of drugs over there, a lot of drugs. More than normal. It's only by God's grace that I survived that. PointMan directed me in a sense of we do recover. And that's my process in the process of life. To maintain and sustain recovery, no matter what goes on in life and circumstances and situations. I don't have to go back to drugs.
Over the years, we have helped numerous numbers of veterans just by meeting, finding out what their situation is, finding out what their needs were, and approaching the VA, assisting them in getting benefits, health services.
I wholeheartedly support PointMan Soldier Heart Ministry. As a member of PointMan, my goal is to assist vets the best way, any way we can possibly. Well, it takes a vet to know what a vet is going through and to be able to support them in any way that they possibly can. And I just believe that we as veterans, we should support one another.
I applaud anybody, any organization or any individuals that go out of their way to help another being. in some ways that they normally wouldn't get that support or get that help. So this organization it's about what I was brought up to be, a helper, a supporter.
The military does not deprogram you from what you receive in the military. One incident, I was walking down Market Street with my family. A truck backfired. When my family looked around, I was laying on the ground covered up from the post-traumatic stress disorder. The government doesn't do their actual job. Once you're in there, you serve them. But once you're finished, they disregard you.
No one ever instructed us how or what we should do once we got back. They just released us and dropped us off, and here we were.
I believe in PointMan. I'm a strong proponent of it and what they do.
PointMan has given me a focus and something meaningful, because when I came home from Vietnam, I came home from Vietnam in handcuffs from the Long Binh Stockade. I went to the Fort Dix Stockade where I process out. Thanks be to God, by His grace and His mercy, we do recover. We get better. We take responsibility as men, because that was the first thing I did.
Everybody stayed away from me. It was hard, and it's hard to express how bad it was. Plus, I had a hearing problem, so I thought it was my hearing problem and not post-traumatic stress, until I went to a vet center and they diagnosed me 100%. A lot of guys weren't as fortunate as I was, and don't even have a clue what's going on, because what we do is help troubled vets, help them as well as their families to get it together, because post-traumatic stress is a strange and dangerous thing.
It was a couple of days before my birthday in 1989. At that time, I had some cocaine, in which I was ingesting through smoke. They call it freebasing. And I had a pistol. And something as audibly as me talking to you guys right now said, why don't you pick the pistol up and blow your brains out? Now, that has a connection to it, because God has sent a number of people to me to help me out, but I wasn't listening because I was so embedded in this disease, this addiction. But it was at that point when something said, blow my brains out, which is considered suicide, that my attention was grabbed. In my whole life, had I ever considered hurting me? And when I thought that thought, I knew at that point, at that very moment, that I needed help. You need to, gain, like every service that's available to you as a veteran, okay? And especially as a veteran of the Marine Corps.
I suppose I suffered PTSD because of some of the things that you have to be subjected to in being a young man from a small town like I came from. You was not prepared for, and some of it was stressful, and some of it was, you just was not. You had no defense for it, so you just had to deal with it, do the best you could.
There's a lot of people who come here never been overseas or never been in Vietnam. So it's supposed to be, should be all veterans, not just combat veterans, because all of them, some one way or another, suffer from the same thing. Anything to help the past military, the future military, and the kids in our community, yes. And that's why I'm PointMan Minister. I really enjoy what I'm doing, and my team working with me, and I think we're doing a very good job.
the Lord blessed me and came into my heart.
When people get in trouble, regardless whether they're atheists or not, but the first words that come out their mouth is, "Oh God, please help me." I've always been a Christian. I've never lost my faith. Even though people say, "I found God." No, you didn't. He was always there. You just didn't look for him.
My faith in the Creator has always been existed because I was brought up in the church. Well, it helped me maintain my stability and know that there was a force greater than myself and greater than the Navy.
A song that's often sang, somebody prayed for me, had me on their mind, took the time and prayed for me. And that's all about intercessory prayers. You know, you don't know it when it's happening, but you know, from the time I left here, I knew that there were a great number of people that were praying for me, you know, my grandmother included.
Even though I didn't join a church until later in my career, but I still knew who, you know, God was and Jesus Christ was in my life. And those are the kind of things, you know, you carry that with you. You almost can get through anything you can if you believe in who God is.
The love of God is just, you know, I can't get into that. I get emotional about that because he always had his hand on me. In Vietnam, stupid and sick, AWOL, running around the country like I was one of them. Oh man, and survived, never wounded.
The men in this video were victims of the Vietnam War. Since then, the military has gone on to fight in the Gulf War and the war in Afghanistan and other conflicts around the world. PointMan Ministries will always be ready to help these and all veterans with whatever they need, no matter what the issue: PTSD, drug and alcohol addiction, educational help, medical problems. PointMan Soldiers Heart Ministry is just a phone call away.